Welcome to day 15, my friend. We only have 78 days left in 2025, which is kind of crazy. And I don't know about you, but I feel like the beginning of the year goes really slow and then it speeds up and it goes so quickly. And then I just blink and it's a new year. And I'm like, what am I doing? What did I accomplish? Are we on the right path? I don't know. Why do I have so much debt? Why do I have so much clutter? Why do I have so many things that I'm always trying to get to? And why do I never feel like I'm actually accomplishing the things I want to be accomplishing, let alone living the life that I really want to be living? Don't know if that ever happens to you, but I have found that that has happened to me a few times in my 38, almost 39 years of life. And I did not want to let this year get by with the same cycle repeating itself, only for me to flip over to a new calendar and be like, what? I don't know. Where did the time go? My kids grow faster and faster. Next thing I know, they're teenagers and now they're adults and they're going off to college. And I'm still in the same spot going, I am not there. I'm not ready. So I don't know about you, that's where I am. And so I am resetting my life in the 92 days that we had left when I started on October 1st. We're going to get into something that I found out yesterday, day before yesterday. Anyways, just realized this, couldn't believe it. It is kind of changing everything. It might not be you, but it might be. And this might be a realization moment. So before we get into that, let's cue my morning routine. And then we're going to head off to the next room and talk about it. Welcome to the laundry room. I just started a load of laundry, so hopefully the water filling up in the washer isn't too terribly obnoxious. But if you hear something, that's what you're hearing. So bear with me here for just a second, a little bit of story time to understand what happened here. Because the thing I am noticing as I go through this room by room, I've done the living room, my master bathroom, my office, and now the laundry room. Y'all, we're checking off rooms. This is exciting. The thing I am noticing is I'm starting by stripping back down to the essentials, right? Really starting with the physical around me. How much stuff can I get rid of? Okay, all the stuff that I have in my house, do I really need it in my house? Can I get rid of stuff? I am going through room by room, pulling everything out, everything that I do not need. I'm either throwing away, just straight up taking to the thrift store because I know we're not going to need it, or boxing it up and putting it down in the basement to be out of sight, out of mind for a little bit, and we will deal with that later. I got 78 days to go, so I got a hot minute to do this, but I'm going through room by room, stripping them all back. And in every room, yes, it is feeling better. It is looking nicer because it has far less stuff crammed into it. But I have found so far really, really deep-rooted things that I'm able to address as I strip out the excess. And that's why I think this process is so important. And that's why truly I encourage you, watch the series with me. I'm going to be doing this through the rest of the year. And if you start looking around and noticing areas in your house that maybe you're like, ooh, maybe I got some of this going on too, I encourage you to deal with it. I know it's difficult. It's not always easy. When I was doing my master bathroom and I saw just how bad it was, y'all, I have a small master bathroom. Like I can stand, I can stand like this and like touch the walls in my master bathroom. Like it's not that big. And yet there was so much stuff crammed in there. It was kind of crazy. And it revealed just such a deeper rooted issue. So the laundry room, that's where we are right now. You guys saw it, the kind of before and after. And spoiler alert, I did not record the excess of the mess, and I should have. I honestly was just in such a hurry, which I'm going to explain to you, that I just was like, go, 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 and didn't stop to record it. I should have. That's my bad. I'm going to show you, like, I'm going to explain to you how bad it was. Honestly, I can pull my kids in here, my husband in here, like they can back it up, but I didn't get any footage. So I'm sorry. Bad YouTuber moment. I know I should have. This is what I found interesting. I am ADHD Absolutely. I think a lot of us are, and maybe just don't realize it. And we are too. There's different types and different degrees and things like that. I have a really hard time staying focused. And there's something called Parkinson's law, where if you have X amount of time to do something, you're going to take up that amount of time to do it. And so if I know that something isn't due until this time next month, I'm going to take until this time next month probably to get it done, right? If I know I have 5 hours to get a task done, I'm probably going to take all 5 hours. Where if I only have 1 hour to get it done, I'm going to be like laser focused. I'm going to be hustling. Like I'm going to do everything that I can to try to accomplish that 1 hour goal, versus if I have 5 hours, it's going to take me 5 hours. Okay. So I say that to say, I decided I'm going to tackle the laundry room. Now, I skipped a day in between filming what you saw yesterday and what you're seeing today because it was my niece's birthday and we were going to be hosting their birthday here at our house. They live on the property in the homestead and they were going to be here. Okay. So I had this genius idea, not so genius, to tackle the laundry room the day before their birthday. I started at after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but we were finished 8-ish. It was 8 something, but from 3 to 8. Okay. So after my day, I'd finished all the things. We're out running around. We get home and I'm like, okay, we've got to do this. I need to get as much done as I can get done. We stripped everything out of here. Here in this closet, I had like a whole wire shelf of like prepared pantry part 1. We stripped all that out. I combined the prepared pantries. I pulled everything out of here. My daughter, one of my daughters, my middle daughter, she keeps all of her stuff in here. She stripped everything out. I made her go through all of her stuff and only put back the essentials. She did a fantastic job. High five, Virginia. You did phenomenal. I cleaned everything. I like top to bottom cleaned the walls. I wiped everything down. I reorganized my laundry stuff. I have 2 things in here I still have to do, and I'm going to sit down and do it as soon as I finish talking to y'all. I have my cleaning cart that needs to be reorganized, and I have extra vacuum pieces that I just need to sort through which one goes to which vacuum and like organize those. So those are the 2 things that I have left. And then this room is done. And yeah, 4 rooms in my house, checked off, done deal, super duper exciting. Here's the thing that's interesting. We pulled everything out of here and took it out into like, we have a living room, kitchen, dining room, like space. It filled that whole room. I'm talking the entire table, all the counters, and all over the floors in that whole open area. I'm talking stacks up to like my hips, and I'm 5'7", so like I'm taller, and there's stacks of stuff. We were walking, like having to like step over everything to be able to get through. We had stuff going down the hallway. There was stuff everywhere. Again, this room isn't huge, and it's really awkward because the stairs cut into it, so like it doesn't have a ton of space. But you guys saw how messy it was. We pulled everything out of here after 3 o'clock in the afternoon with 12 people going to be in the home the next day to celebrate a birthday. I really was like down to the wire. When I was in the midst of it, my family even walked in and they were like, "You sure this was a good idea to do this the day before their birthday? Like, you're not going to have this done. Our house is now destroyed." It went from like, wow, we're seeing improvement, things are getting better, to, oh, this is no good. It is disaster zone. You literally cannot walk. Like it is a hazard to walk in this space that everybody's trying to like maneuver through and like step over piles to get to things. I was so laser focused. Again, I didn't even record it. I didn't take it back. I did nothing. I was so laser focused. I put an earbud in, just one. I keep like one in, one out so I can hear. I listened to some videos. I put on some music. I just had something in. I had girls going through some stuff. I had people helping me carry stuff down to the prepared pantry. I was cleaning. I pulled out my mop. I'm, wiping down the walls, doing all the things. I was so laser focused. And by almost 8, it was like 8:30 maybe. It was between 8 and 8:30. It was done. It was all done. And everybody was kind of walking through the house like, nobody is going to believe that this was a massive disaster zone just a few hours ago. But you know what I said? I don't know if it was just all my years as a wedding planner and event florist that something in my brain just clicked. Here's when event time is. Here's everything that I need to get done. Make it happen. And I did, because I had such a stark cutoff point that everything had to be done. The house needed to be at least back to ready to some degree. And I had some fun little goodies to put up to make it feel fun and festive for my nieces. It had to be done. I had such a catastrophic cutoff point that was like, if it's not done by here, it's gonna be a pain, because if there's this much stuff out in the space that 12 people are going to be all occupying at the same exact time, at this exact time, I have to really get this together. I did it. I stayed so focused. I did not allow myself to get distracted. Like I said, I put in an earbud. I was like, okay, I'm just going to listen to this and just like hone in on what I'm doing and not stop. And sometimes I think that's what we need. Now, this is where I say, I'm just sharing this. You weigh this for yourself. Sometimes for some of us, having a make or break deadline is the key factor that allows us to stay focused and get the things done that we need to get done. Sometimes if we have this big, long thing, we're going to take all of that time, or we're going to procrastinate and say, well, maybe later, maybe later, maybe later. And then that day's going to get there and we're going to be like, well, there goes that, game over, right? Like we missed it. And I think sometimes you could do that. If we say, okay, there are 78 days left in the year, well, it's going to take you 78 days to accomplish anything, right? If you just look at that and go, okay, well, I have 78 days, so like maybe I'll get to it tomorrow. Well, when I started on October 1st, I said, okay, there are 92 days left. That means that I have to do something intentional each and every day to hit my goalpost of having totally reset my life, stripped everything back so that I could rebuild the life that I want to build. That's what I said the other day. Find 3 things to focus on. If you wake up today and say, okay, what are 3 things that I can focus on that are going to be stepping stones to reaching that 78-day goal or whatever it is that you might choose, then you're able to look at that. Like I said, okay, I am going to strip everything out of the laundry room, but I have to have only the essentials put back, the things cleaned up, good morning, Barley, and the house back to ready so that I can be prepared. So I stripped everything out. I went through it, right? I put back only the essentials. I cleaned the space really, really well. And I made sure out here was taken care of. The back of the van got filled up with stuff that needs to go get donated. The stuff that needs to be dealt with, you know, in the future got put in the spot in the basement to be dealt with in the future. And the things that we use each and every day got cleaned up, wiped down, organized, and put back. So that way I could use them. I gave myself 3 objectives, and then I hit those objectives because I knew I had a cutoff point that I had to get that done. Now, I think sometimes we need that. And if you wake up today and you say, okay, you're right, there are areas of my life that I need to deal with, there are things I need to, well, identify 3 spaces of your life that you need to deal with. For me, one was definitely the amount of stuff, right? There's so much stuff that needs to be dealt with. It is where I'm spending my time, right? Too often, I will just get locked in on stuff that needs to be done, and I just let it linger and last so long. And the next thing I know, I've spent hours and hours and hours just sitting at a computer, and I've done nothing else around me. Where I'm allocating my time has to change. And for me, the third was rebuilding and putting the things back in that I want to actually be doing. And I've been giving you guys, you all are actually voting on the habits that I start putting back in here. You guys voted in my no screens for the first and last hours of the day. So I've been doing that, which is amazing, by the way. The second habit that you guys just voted in is to have an intentional weekly Sabbath. And so that is starting. I talked about that in yesterday's video, and a new habit is up. So you guys can go over to my post tab and vote on that. Vote which one you want me to add in next, which is really, really exciting and kind of a fun way to do this. Those are my 3 areas that I really want to focus on. So that means each and every day I have to do at least some intentional step to help in those. That means that I could sit down in the evening and be like, okay, what are 3 things I can focus on tomorrow that are going to help me in those ways? And sometimes having that cutoff point of, hey, this is when it has to be done by, so then I can kind of reverse engineer and know what little things I can do. I don't know every day what I'm going to do, but every evening I really do. I sit down and go, okay, what are 3 things that I can do tomorrow that are going to help me get to that? If I want to reach that goal, I need to be intentional today to work towards those things and get those things done. And I really noticed that here with the laundry room, that having that like catastrophic make or break must be done by this day it really did help me. It helped me to stay focused. It helped me to get it done. It helped me to really hone in and just, I mean, I was exhausted by the end of the night, but it was wonderful. I did it. It felt great. My family was amazed. They're like, we really didn't think you're going to be able to pull this one off. And I was like, you know what? You can take the wedding planner out of the wedding industry, but you know what? I'm still getting stuff done. That was my point. I was like, you know what? When have I ever not had an event ready to go by time? Never. And I've done hundreds of weddings. This was no different, except for it was just a little family birthday party. But you get my point. It was done and it felt great. Pat on the back me, got it done. But now that like enthusiasm and confidence starts to carry over to other days. So I'm looking at this today and going, okay, I have got to finish this room. I am really, really bad at starting a project and not finishing it, but I don't want to do that. And so I'm going to go back in there. There's just two simple things that need to be done. That cleaning cart needs to be organized, and I need to take care of the basket of bathroom or vacuum pieces that I have to make sure I've got them organized and what's what. I got to do that real quick, but then the space is done, is complete, and I can make that a solid check mark and move on to the next one. And praise God, that's a pretty amazing thing to do. So 78 days left here. I don't want to waste today. Let's get at it. So I'm separating these baskets that were in there because I have my Roomba and then my Eufy vacuums. So I'm separating their pieces so I can organize in there, and the stuff for my steam cleaner. A charger cord that I actually have no idea what it goes to, so I gotta try to figure that out. So I'm gonna save that because it must go to something. And then in the bottom of this box that has been in this cabinet for the past, I don't know, year or so, and I love this cabinet. It's so great, works so well. But in the bottom of this box that has been in here, I found these like old super special pictures, like me and my brothers at a trip in Wyoming. Why they were in here, I have literally no idea. But I found this and was like, I have no idea what's going on. But anyways, found a bunch of like family photos stashed in here for some reason that is kind of just really weird. But I was like, see, the importance of cleaning and going through stuff and finding things that are living places that they really shouldn't. But anyways, I will go put these away and then finish putting all this away. So I'm certainly not saying that it is the right answer for everyone to have like some sort of massive deadline to get all of your stuff done in, but it certainly was a help for me to have something that said, hey, here's a big task. You got to get it done. You got to get it done by this point in time. Sorry, I feel like you guys are sideways here. But maybe for you, you do look at that and you're like, wow, like when I have a deadline that I need to meet, it does help me actually do that. If I say, hey, sorry, my husband and son are having way too much fun out there. I don't know how much of this you can hear, but hopefully you can still hear me. If you are looking at this and you have to go, okay, I have, 2 hours this afternoon after doing all my stuff and kids and whatever, but I've got 2 hours before my husband gets home, or I got 2 hours before we need to be getting ready for bed, or whatever the case may be. You're looking maybe going into this weekend, like, you know what? I could take, 4 hours on Saturday or an hour on Saturday, right? Whatever the time limit is. If you want to say, you know what, I'm going to set a timer and I'm going to do 15 to 30 minutes each evening or each morning, and that's the time I have to tackle these things, then do that. And honestly, setting a timer or having something, for me, like I had to have it all done so we could, do our normal nighttime routine and get to bed. That was kind of my deadline to get it all done. So the next day we could wake up and be ready to go. Give yourself a deadline, set a timer. You would be amazed at how much momentum you could build in the next 78 days with 15 minutes a day. I'm telling you, It really can be that. Not every day am I going to empty an entire room and clock in 5 hours of nonstop heavy duty cleaning and moving and sorting and organizing. That's not going to happen every single day. Certainly not today. I took 30 minutes, sorted through my cleaning basket, and just doing that, even if that would have been the only thing I did, I spent about 15 minutes on the cleaning basket, 15 minutes on the cabinet, just going through those, sorting through. I realized in my cleaning basket, most of it was empty bottles that just needed to be refilled, multiple bottles of the same thing that were open that just needed to be combined, trash that needed to be thrown away. I had big, bulky, like dusty boxes of the like magic eraser sponges and like steel cleaning pads that I was like, why have these little Dollar Tree pencil containers? I could just throw those in there. Now they're nice and neat. They're clear. I can see how many there are. It was really simple, easy to just do that real quick. Again, I spent 15 minutes on that, 15 minutes on the cabinet. They're organized. They're tidy. Everything's done. It's feeling so good. And having a little bit of deadline can be a good thing to help keep you focused and organized. So, day 15 done, feeling good, getting a lot done. I've got a much easier day ahead of me now that that stuff is done. But again, I'm tackling this. I am feeling immensely better internally. And it's like I can take this big, nice, deep breath externally. It is gorgeous. It is crisp. It is cool outside. I got the house open. We got fresh air coming in. I got soft music playing and a tidier house. And a sense of accomplishment inside because I'm taking care of the things that I identified were those top things that needed to be taken care of. And now I am seeing progress toward that goal. So I hope that this can be an encouragement to you here today. Share this with a friend who could use some encouragement as well. Like this video, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you all. Your comments are quite genuinely what's keeping me going. Like, I am feeling great. I'm getting on, I'm seeing y'all's comments, and I told my husband, I'm like, they're just the nicest, most wonderful things that like anybody has said to me. And I thank you guys so much for them because it is nice when you put yourself out there and you quite literally air all your dirty laundry, and then to have other sisters in Christ who are like, girl, I got you. Like, I get that. Me too. You know, thank you all for that. It really does mean so much. I'm gonna leave you the playlist right up here of all the other places and things and what all I've gotten done. Subscribe, turn on your bells, follow me along. We got 78 days to go. And you know what? We're going and we are going strong. I will see you all right back here tomorrow for the next phase. Bye, friends.